Welcome back, and we want to thank you for making Toledo's longest-running 9 a.m. show a part of your Wednesday morning.
Well, now that it is March, we need to start looking forward to April, right? And a very big, important event is coming up, the Mercy Health Glass City Marathon. Race director Clint McCormick and physical therapist Dayna Pirrwitz joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Okay, how many days? You usually got the countdown. Uh-oh, I put him on the spot.
31 and 23.
Okay. All right, there we are. We're almost, I mean, hey, we're in the home stretch, essentially, at this point.
Yeah. So how are things coming?
Very well. I was just talking last night on another podcast that our volunteer recruitment is, I want to say, miles ahead of where we were in the past. And I think a lot of it has to do with people kind of coming back to work in the office, and people are willing to get out there and volunteer like, I think they never have before. Yeah. So we're very excited to have everybody back.
Awesome. Are you guys 26.2 miles ahead?
Miles
Do you like
ahead.
that race pun?
Okay.
You got to get a race pun in there. Dayna, so let's talk a little bit about women in training for this. How do men and women train differently for something like this?
Well, it's not really the differences in training. It's the differences, maybe we can talk about the physical differences.
Yes.
Men versus women.
Yes.
Obviously, women have a wider pelvis. I will argue with my male colleagues that, we need to be a little bit stronger in those muscles that kind of stabilize us in the lateral plane and then the transverse plane, so the side-to-side motion and the rotational motion. So with women, we need to not come in line with our feet until we're going a faster pace. The research shows women shouldn't come in line with their feet until like a 6-minute pace. Okay. Whereas guys, it doesn't really affect them until, they can go like a 10-minute pace. So, the leg angle changes and that with women's pelvis being a little bit wider. So for advantage at hips.
Who knew all that?
Right. And then hormonal differences, right? So we have a high hormone phase for 2 weeks, and we have a low hormone phase during 2 weeks. So that low hormone phase, we're more like a male at that point. Okay. We can utilize carbohydrates a little bit easier. We can recover a little bit easier. During that high hormone phase, it becomes a little bit more difficult to, utilize those carbs. So we use fat as a fuel source more so, and that's really not that ideal for running workouts, for racing, those kind of things. So you have to pay attention to your nutrition and hydration a little bit better during those times.
So are there any key tips that you're helping women with right now as we're just about a month away from this big race?
So for my role, I'm seeing a lot of women in the clinic. So those that are injured, I do give some tips out at the training groups too. But for those that are injured in the clinic, we're doing a lot of brute strengthening of those hip muscles.
What about women who've had babies? That's a lot on your body, right? That's a kind of a big thing. How did they go about getting back into that condition to be able to run these long distances?
Sure. So when you're pregnant, you go through those changes kind of gradually with posture and having that baby out front, getting some stretch weakness, things like that. But then you have the baby and it's a very abrupt change. Sure. So we have to go about it slowly as we come back. Usually at 6 weeks, they're cleared to go back and run, but 35% of women that get back to running usually report some kind of hip problem at that point. Or, if you look at some of the research for urinary stress incontinence, 19%. Yes. So having pelvic health specialists working in the clinic and then kind of getting them over to me to kind of help them get back and look at their mechanics, look at their strength, and then gradually return. I think women try to be super women, right? Yes. So we're trying to take care of babies, we're trying to have some me time and go out there and run. Some of that we need to gradually get back. So a lot of what I do is just kind of coaching them to get back gradually and do a run-walk program and try to get back to, just the basics of running and not go too hard too fast or too long too fast. So, getting into a 5K would be a great way to kind of get back to running.
Yeah, so really just pacing yourself and not jumping head first into this.
Right, right.
Yeah, awesome.
And there are all those different options with the marathon. You know, you have the 5K, you've got the half, you got the relay, you have different options.
And
for
I think that's
people.
what makes this weekend special, is that we do have a distance that satisfies everybody's individual needs, right? Whether you're a 2-year-old kid learning to walk, or you're a woman who had a child and wants to get back into the sport, the 5K option is good, and then on up to the marathon. So
the big guy.
The relay is my favorite. I've been doing everything I can to convince this guy over here to join us. But he avoids me.
Clint, come on. Yeah, I did wait until like last minute to come out here. But for the people who are going to run, is there still time for people to sign up?
Yeah, so March 31st is really our registration cutoff. The reason for that is mostly an inventory thing. We want to make sure that if you sign up, you're going to get your shirt, you're going to get your medal, you're going to get your mug, we're going to have enough food, we're going to have enough beer, everything that you need to complete your marathon.
And Dayna, for women out there who they might be going, yeah, I need some help. You know, my body is not what it was, you know, just a few months ago. Can they get in contact with y'all to get working on that sort of thing?
Sure. Yep, they can call our Mercy Health Perrysburg Clinic, or they can call the Mercy Health Mommy Clinic. Sure.
Help strengthen those pelvic floor muscles.
Yeah.
Don't we all? Yeah. Thank you so much. Really interesting information this morning. We really
I thought my calf was an issue, you know.
Thank you too again. Well, when Toledo's longest running 9 a.m. show continues, we're heading up to Adrian, where Diane is getting her knit on.
Yes, without me. And we're showing off some of your projects. Aren't these great, Stephen? Very cute.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That is
yes.
nice.
It's Knit Along Day here on Good Day. Stay with us.